All right, back for another beer review, and today I'm reviewing yet another beer from the Ascension Brewing Company, and they are out of Novi, Michigan, and this is their Cinnamon Hazelnut Vanilla Gorilla Juice. So they're calling this one an Imperial Stout brewed with cinnamon, hazelnut, and whole vanilla bean. Comes in at 16.4% alcohol by volume, 50 IBUs at the time of review. I don't know exactly how old this can is, but this was released in late November of 2019, so it's no older than 1 month old at the time of this review, and probably a little bit fresher than that. And I also want to give a huge thanks and shout out to a friend of mine, Chris, for hooking me up with this one. So thank you very much, Chris. Chris and I hung out at a bottle share on Black Friday, and he actually gave me a couple Ascension beers for reviewing purposes. I already reviewed their Parfait Sour, which was fantastic, and he also gave me this one. Now, full disclosure, I have had this one before, and that's because Chris was nice enough to crack open a can of this during the share itself, and yeah, it was quite delicious. I only had 2 ounces of it, and it was halfway through the share, but I kind of forgot about this one, and I think most of the people at the share did as well, because he cracked open their peanut butter marshmallow variant later on in the share, and honestly, that was probably the best beer of the share, if not top 2. It was just top tier, next level shit. At the same time, I really enjoyed this one, and you know, I only had 2 ounces of it halfway through the share, your palate shot and whatnot. So for him to, you know, give me a can to review, and being able to drink this at like the proper temperature, you know, on a fresh palate, by myself, I thank you, Chris, and I can't wait to get into this one. So one discrepancy with this beer and what they say on Untapped, and I believe their website, it said that they're using hazelnut coffee in this one, but on the can it just says hazelnut. So whatever, I guess we'll see when I'm reviewing if I can pick up on an actual coffee, like, you know, distinct coffee character. But anyway, yeah, 16.4%, 16-ounce can. Boy, is my night going to be fantastic. Let's give it a pour here into the witch's hat glass. So yeah, this isn't pouring out like straight motor oil. It has a really deep, dark brown color as I'm pouring it. This is pouring out, you know, like I said, deep, dark brown, but like very milky and just like, you know, it's, oh, god damn, does that, wow. All right, anyway, never mind. Forget what I said. Listen, it's pitch black in the glass. That's how it's going to look. Had about a third of a finger of this pretty much dark brown head that is now dissipated to a thin film. Not really able to muster up a head, but again, this is 16.4%. Alcohol legs for days. That looks like a beautiful beer. Let's get a nose. Oh, my God. It smells fucking dynamite. It smells like a cinnamon, like, coffee cake is what I could pretty much picture it. There is coffee in here. I don't know if that's hazelnut, but it's just like a cinnamon coffee cake where there's like nuts in there, whether it's hazelnut, you know, pecans, almonds, something like that. Oh, man, that cinnamon is there. Obviously, for me, it's the star of the show, being, you know, less than a month old. The cinnamon's popping big time. And then the hazelnut, coffee, a vanilla bean type of thing. Like I said, this is kind of like, this is kind of like a cinnamon coffee cake to me in Imperial Stout form. Because underneath I'm getting a lot of like dark chocolate, sweeter dark chocolate, a little bit of milk chocolate. This has a lot of sweetness to it, but it seems slightly reserved in the nose. Like, it's sweet. Shout out to the train. There's, you know, I did a couple of reviews today. This is the second and the final, because 16.4%, you know, and the train. Just settle down, train. Like, it just, or don't settle down, whatever. Yeah, cinnamon and hazelnut, and there's coffee. Again, it says hazelnut. Coffee might be coming from the, you know, the base stout, but yeah, cinnamon coffee cake for me. Man, there's not much more to say about it. I get the cinnamon, I get hazelnut, I get coffee, I get vanilla bean, I get sweet dark chocolate. It smells like it's going to be a bigger beer, but at the same time, like I said, that sweetness is slightly reserved, even though it is prominent. I want to get into it. Cheers, everybody, and thanks again, Chris. So, drinking this one, it's still fucking damn tasty. This is just damn tasty. We'll go with the body first. Body, 16.4%. It's basically full body. It's like medium to full body, but it's thick. It's viscous. I wouldn't necessarily say it's chewy. And that would be the only slight knock I would say on the body, is that 16.4%. I want something that's chewy. This is just thick and viscous. Would most people be disappointed by this body? Probably not. Would somebody like a good friend of mine and fellow beer tuber Paul over PA Brew News would be disappointed by this body, probably at 16.4%, but I still think you would like the body. The mouthfeel, super soft and smooth, slightly creamy. It's definitely undercarbed a bit. Yeah, definitely undercarbed a bit. Probably on purpose, maybe not. This is low carbonation. The body's fantastic. The mouth feels damn good as well. The taste, cinnamon, coffee, cake, all day long. I get cinnamon. I get a pronounced coffee. Again, I don't know if it's hazelnut coffee, but I would not be surprised based on what I'm tasting. But cinnamon, coffee, there's a nuttiness that I wouldn't necessarily say hazelnut, but I would just say a generic nuttiness that would lead towards like hazelnut, walnut, almond type of vibe as opposed to like a peanut. The vanilla is an omnipresent underlying characteristic to the beer. There's also just like a soul core, dark, sweeter dark chocolate vibe to this one. Mid to maybe 3/4 of the way to the palate, the alcohol sneaks in. And there's a little bit of an astringency of alcohol in the palate. I would guess this around 12-13%. I would say right now drinking this at the share, again, palate compromised, so to speak. But at the share, drinking a bunch of different beers, this one drank like 10% instead of 16.4. Now this is drinking like 12 to 13%. Still not 16.4, but it's still, there's a pronounced booziness. You know this is 16 point, or you know this is a big beer, but you don't know it's 16.4. It's about we'll say about 3 to 4% lower, which is impressive. Here's the thing. I thought this would be sickly sweet. Just sitting here, Chris gave me a can and I'm like, should I share this or drink this by myself? Well, when I crack it open today, it's going to be by myself. Like I said, I had a beer earlier today and wasn't that big ABV. So I figured this is like the nightcap. This is the beer I'll drink the rest of the night. And I think I will easily be able to take down this can. Why? The alcohol is there to kind of stop the monotony of the sweetness and just the big 16.4% malt character. And it doesn't have a cloying aspect to it whatsoever as I'm drinking this one. It's actually quite drinkable at 16.4%, and that's scary. Like I said, I know it's 12 to 13%, but enough of the characteristics in the beer is balancing out enough, still leaning sweet, but not super sweet. Impressive. So yeah, I'd say this drink's like 12, 13%. There's a big warming into my chest, a little bit of astringency on the palate, but still 16.4% is impressive. This is, the name of this is quite impressive too, because I'm getting the cinnamon, I'm getting a nuttiness from the hazelnut, and I'm getting an underlying vanilla bean presence, and then I'm getting the base beer, which is just, a huge Imperial Stout. That chocolate's there. There's a big roasted character to this one as well. Damn enjoyable. My preference would still be to share this beer. Because Ascension stuff I don't ever get my hands on. And it's 16.4%, so I'd rather share 8 ounces with somebody. Somebody can have 8 ounces, or even with 3 people, and everybody have a good 5.5 ounces or whatever, 5 1/3. But I will say I'll have no problems drinking the rest of this, enjoying every single sip of it. So I think rating on this one, I can't go much higher. I can't go much lower than 4.5 out of 5 for cinnamon, hazelnut, vanilla, Gorilla Juice from Ascension. If you've had this one before, let me know what you think about it. If you've had any of the Gorilla Juice variants, or maybe even the base beer, or anything from Ascension, these are the first 2 beers I've had from Ascension. And man, if these beers are an indicator of their quality, then I'm super impressed, because the Parfait Sour was delicious. It was right on par with some of the crunchy beers from other half. And then this one, some of the better Imperial, like pastry Imperial Stouts that I've had recently. So 4.5 out of 5 for this beer. If you've had this one before, let me know what you think about it. Price and availability. Availability, I'm pretty sure it's brewery only. Maybe they get a little bit of distribution locally. I don't think so, though. I think this is brewery only. And then price on this one, which this might be disputed and debated, $10 for that can. Now, this is the way I look at it. 16-ounce can. If you threw this into a 16.9-ounce bottle, like a nice, 500-milliliter bottle that's real fancy, and you saw this for $9.99, I guarantee most people would have no issues paying that, because it's in a nice fancy, 500-milliliter bottle. Yeah, you get an extra ounce or 0.9 fluid ounces, but for some reason, there's a negative reaction when cans like this are $10. But like if you threw this into, like I said, a 500 milliliter bottle, I think people would be gobbling it up. I mean, there's a lot of times I buy 500 milliliter bottles of Jack's Abbey and their Framingham series, and they're different barrel aged. I know they're barrel aged, but there's some variants that just adjunct and whatnot. But those can be anywhere from 10 to 12, 13 bucks and a 16.9 ounce bottle. So I think $10 a can for a 16.4 ounce Imperial Stout with those 3 adjuncts in it, I think market value and what people are paying nowadays, it's right in the realm and it's fine. And I would definitely pay that. If I went to the brewery, I'd buy a couple cans of this, share it with friends. And I think this would be a great sharing beer in addition to taking it to your dome like I am. And I'm feeling great already. And I think I'm going to feel great by the end of the night, if you know what I mean. So once again, if you had this one before, let me know what you think about it. Throw in the comments. Thanks again to Chris for hooking me up with not only this beer, but both Ascension beers. And appreciate everybody stopping by for another beer review. Till the next one. Cheers.